Good afternoon, class. My name is Shaniqua, and this is my video post for discussion question number 4. The question is, what do you see as the strengths and weaknesses of the integration approach? As I was reading Grego and Sizemore 2012, I found that McMinn, and Campbell 2007 begin by stating that integrative psychotherapy is basically the theological assertion that humans are created in God's image. And that's stated on page 95. And because of the fact that people are made within the image of God, the integrative piece can be found in three specific areas. One is functional, two is structural, and the third is relational. In regards to the functional aspect of integrative psychotherapy, Gregor and Sizemore 2012 stated that we are given certain responsibilities, and that's listed on page 96. And basically, what that means is that we as a people, or we as human beings, have an opportunity to function in a more effective way, according to page 96. What it's meant by being able to function in a more effective way is basically to indicate that we can focus on symptom focus solutions, and that's according to McMinn and Campbell 2007. So basically meaning that we can focus on specific things and specific areas that may need to be fixed in order to help us with our functional well-being. The second part is the structural or the substance area, and that's basically defined as being able excuse me, it basically means that we have the capacity, our human capacity is to be more rational and to make moral decisions. And that's according to Gregor and Sizemore, 2012, page 96. And basically what that stems from is to indicate that we are able to bring meaning to our lives. So we're able to make our moral choices based on the information that we receive, and then we're also able to bring meaning to our lives. And that is that is on page 96. What that is called, it is called the schema focus strategies, and that is also again listed by McMinn and Campbell 2007. The last area that integrative psychotherapy reaches is the relational aspect. And what that basically means is, according to the Swiss theologian Karl Barth, 1958, our image is contained in relationship with others. And basically that means that our relational piece, or the relational aspect of who we are, is in conjunction with how we relate to other people. And that's listed in Grego and Sizemore 2012, page 96. And from this, the definition of the integrative psychotherapy and the aspects of the functional and the structural and the relational aspects of a person, I believe that one of the strengths could be that because they're all areas in regards to the representation of God, it allows us to go back to those areas to be able to relate to God in those areas, to see where we need assistance, where we need to grow more, if you will, where we need to be able to find what we need in order to grow strength and to develop that holistic part of who and what we need to be. Another strength was listed by Miller and Rolnick, 2002, where they talked about motivational interviewing, and this can help people to prepare for whatever changes that they need to make, because we know in integrative psychotherapy, there has to be multiple places where there has to be multiple changes because something is out of balance one way or the other. And so part of being out of balance and part of going back to being a holistic person has to do with making different changes. So motivational, interviewing would also be a strength that I would consider in this particular approach, the integrative approach. One of the weaknesses that I did think about was that if a person's thought process or is flawed in relation to God, or if there's no thought process, or there's a non-existential thought process of God, it may become harder for a person to be able to see themselves in the image of God. Many times, I believe that if you're not able to identify and see yourself as Christ sees you, and the wherewithal that He's giving you to be, it becomes harder for you to be able to accept yourself as a person. And I think with that, it makes the integrative process a little harder, because the thought processing is flawed when it comes to God and who He is, which causes our thought process of who we are to become flawed as well. The other piece that I found to be a weakness is that when it comes to the focus symptoms, and then with the schema symptoms, the concern could be a lack of time. According to Grego and Sizemore, it says that the time constraints could be a factor because symptom base takes weeks in order to be able to go through, and then the schema would take months or maybe even years to go through, according to page 106. And with that, if a person is on a set or regulated amount of time for therapeutic services, it could be really hard to integrate this particular approach to a person because of the time constraint that they may be under, that they may be able to maybe go through some surface areas, but they won't be able to go into the deeper areas that need to be penetrated more in order for that holistic change to actually occur for a client. Thank you so much for listening to my video post, and I look forward to seeing you all soon. Take care and have a good night. Bye bye.